Liam, have you ever started a conversation and then your mind just goes blank?
Oh, yes. You ask, "Hey, how are you?" They say, "Good." And then it's like, "What now?" Awkward silence. The panic starts.
Exactly. So many English learners and even native speakers feel that fear. They don't know how to keep a conversation flowing.
And it's not just about English skills. It's also about confidence, curiosity, and knowing how to carry a chat forward.
Right. Because when you can keep a conversation going, you feel more connected, more confident, more alive.
And in today's episode, we're going to show you how, step by step, with real talk, real practice, and tips that actually work.
So, if you've ever felt stuck, awkward, or shy while talking to someone, stick with us. This episode could change how you speak forever. Liam, do you know what one of the biggest fears English learners have is?
Let me guess, not being able to keep a conversation alive.
Exactly. Many students say, I can start a chat, but I can't continue it. And that fear stops them from practicing.
Yes, it's like they're always worried about the next sentence. What if I run out of words? What if I sound boring? What if the other person walks away?
But here's the truth. You don't need perfect English to be a great conversationalist. You just need tools. Tools to stay curious, ask the right questions, and keep it real.
And when you master this, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your fluency improves naturally, and your relationships get stronger.
That's why today's episode is so valuable. We're not just teaching you how to speak English, we're teaching you how to connect with people.
So if you ever froze during a conversation, if you walked away thinking, why couldn't I say more? Don't worry, you're in the right place.
By the end of this episode, you'll have real, practical ways to keep a conversation going, even when your mind goes blank. Emily, have you ever talked to someone and felt the energy just drop?
Oh, yes. You're excited to talk, but after a few minutes, it goes quiet. You look at your phone, they look at the wall, you both feel awkward.
That moment can hurt, especially for English learners. You start thinking, it's my fault. I must be boring. I shouldn't have spoken.
Yes, and those thoughts create fear, fear of speaking again. So next time, you stay silent. You miss another chance to grow.
And it doesn't just affect your English, it affects your confidence. You avoid conversations. You feel like you'll never be fluent. And you start to believe a lie, I'm just not a people person.
But that's not true. Most people feel this way at some point. Even native English speakers struggle to keep a conversation going, especially in new or unfamiliar situations.
Yes. So if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling embarrassed, discouraged, or alone, we see you. And this episode is here to help you take your power back.
You don't need to be perfect. You just need a few skills and a little confidence. And we're going to help you build both, step by step.
Liam, I think many people blame their English skills when they can't keep a conversation going. But sometimes it's not just about English, right?
Exactly. It's deeper than grammar or vocabulary. Sometimes it's about fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being judged, fear of looking silly.
And that fear creates pressure. Like, I have to be interesting. I have to impress this person. That pressure makes the mind freeze.
Also, some people try to control the conversation. They think they have to talk the whole time. But real conversations are like dancing. You take turns.
Yes. Another reason people struggle is a lack of listening. They focus so much on what to say next, they forget to really listen.
That's a good one. When you're not listening, you miss easy chances to ask follow-up questions, and the talk just dies.
Also, there's the mindset problem. Some learners think, I'm not funny, I'm shy, I'm not good at talking, and that belief becomes their truth.
But confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And that's what this episode is about.
So, if you've ever struggled to keep a conversation going, it's not because you're broken, it's because you haven't learned the right tools yet.
And the good news? Those tools are simple, practical, and powerful. Let's start learning them in the next part.
Liam, let's get into it. The first tool to keep a conversation going is follow up questions.
Yes, this one is a game changer. Many people ask a question like, "How was your weekend?" And when they hear, "It was fine," they stop.
Exactly. But if you just ask one more thing, something like, what did you do? Or did anything fun happen? Suddenly the conversation continues.
That's the secret. You're not forcing the conversation, you're showing curiosity.
Let's show an example. Liam, ask me a basic question.
Okay, did you have a good day today?
Yeah, it was good.
Nice. What made it good?
Oh, I got to take a walk in the park. The weather was amazing.
Boom, now we're talking. I could say, "Oh, wow, which park did you go to?" Or, "Do you like walking often?"
And just like that, a simple chat becomes a real connection, all because of a tiny follow up question.
So here's a tip for our listeners. After someone answers your question, ask yourself, "Can I go one level deeper?" That's how conversations grow.
And you don't have to be perfect. Even something like, oh, really? Why? Or tell me more works wonders. Liam, here's something most people forget. To keep a conversation going, you can't just ask questions. You also have to share a little bit about yourself.
Yes, if the conversation is just one-sided, it feels like an interview. But when you share your own thoughts, feelings, or small stories, it becomes real.
Let's say someone says, I love watching movies. You could ask, what kind of movies? But then you can also say, me too. I just watched a comedy last night.
Exactly. That little piece of information builds connection. Now they might ask you, "What was it about?" Or, "Did you like it?" Boom, conversation keeps flowing.
And it doesn't have to be deep or serious. It can be simple. Oh, I love tea too. Or, yeah, mornings are tough for me as well.
These tiny shares say, "I'm like you. I understand you." And that makes people want to talk more.
So, here's a challenge for our listeners. Next time you talk to someone, share one small thing about your own experience. It might feel scary at first, but it builds trust fast.
And remember, you're not trying to impress. You're just being human. That's where great conversations begin.
Liam, here's something most people forget. To keep a conversation going, you can't just ask questions. You also have to share a little bit about yourself.
Yes, if the conversation is just one-sided, it feels like an interview. But when you share your own thoughts, feelings, or small stories, it becomes real.
Let's say someone says, I love watching movies. You could ask, what kind of movies? But then you can also say, me too. I just watched a comedy last night.
Exactly. That little piece of information builds connection. Now they might ask you, "What was it about?" Or, "Did you like it?" Boom, conversation keeps flowing.
And it doesn't have to be deep or serious. It can be simple. Oh, I love tea too. Or, yeah, mornings are tough for me as well.
These tiny shares say, "I'm like you. I understand you." And that makes people want to talk more.
So here's a challenge for our listeners. Next time you talk to someone, share one small thing about your own experience. It might feel scary at first, but it builds trust fast.
And remember, you're not trying to impress. You're just being human. That's where great conversations begin.
Liam, sometimes the best way to keep a conversation going is the simplest. Just be present and react like a real human being.
Exactly. You don't have to think of clever things all the time. You just need to be there, really listening and reacting with heart.
Let's imagine this. Someone says, I had such a tough day today. And you pause, look at them, and say, oh no, really? What happened?
That reaction, it shows care. It keeps the door open for them to share more. That's how real conversation flows, through natural emotions.
Yes. Sometimes people don't want long speeches. They just want someone who listens and reacts with a little, wow, or that's awesome, or oh, I didn't know that.
And here's the cool part. These natural reactions don't require perfect English. They just need presence.
And when you're present, you stop overthinking. You stop planning your next line. You just flow with the moment, and the conversation goes on easily.
So if you want to become a great communicator, practice reacting like a friend, not a robot.
Nod, smile, laugh, say, oh, wow, that's funny. Seriously? These small reactions are golden conversations. Liam, let's be honest. Even with all these great tips, people still struggle. Why is that?
Because it's not just about learning what to say, it's about fighting the voices in your head.
Right. Voices like, what if they think I'm stupid? What if I say something wrong? What if I make them uncomfortable?
Those thoughts can freeze you. Even if you know what to say, you can't speak because fear shuts you down.
And sometimes it's not fear, it's habit. You're so used to staying quiet that your brain doesn't know how to jump in.
Yes. Other times the challenge is cultural. Some people come from backgrounds where speaking up feels rude or risky.
Or maybe you had a bad experience. Maybe someone laughed at your English once, and now that memory holds you back.
But here's the truth. One bad moment doesn't define your future. Every conversation is a new chance.
Absolutely. If you've struggled before, that's okay. The most confident speakers today also felt nervous once.
And if you feel uncomfortable, start small. Talk to a shopkeeper. Say hi to a classmate. Even practicing with your mirror helps.
The key is to keep going. Don't wait to feel perfect. Speak while you're still learning.
Because confidence doesn't come first, practice does. And from practice, confidence grows.
All right, Liam, let's pretend we just met at a coffee shop. How do you start a chat?
Okay, I'll say, hi, Emily. This place has the best coffee, don't you think?
Yes, I love their cappuccino. By the way, have you tried their new caramel latte?
Hmm. I'd reply, not yet, but that sounds delicious. Speaking of caramel, I tried making caramel at home last weekend. It was fun, but tricky.
Nice share. I'd respond, oh wow, homemade caramel. That sounds impressive. I've always wanted to try baking.
Yeah, baking is a cool hobby. Actually, that's interesting because I'm thinking about learning how to bake bread next.
Perfect. Now I can ask, that's awesome. Do you like cooking in general?
Yes, I'd say I do. It helps me relax. How about you?
I'd reply, same here. Cooking is my stress buster. By the way, do you watch any cooking shows?
Oh, that reminds me. I watch a lot of cooking videos on YouTube. They give great ideas.
This conversation just flowed naturally. We asked questions, shared stories, and used connector phrases.
And we reacted naturally, like real friends chatting over coffee.
Liam, let's pick some useful words and phrases from our chat today.
Great idea, Emily. Here's the first one. Conversation bridge. It means a phrase that connects one idea to another smoothly.
Example: speaking of travel is a conversation bridge to change the topic naturally.
Next word, present. It means being fully focused and aware of the moment.
Example: I try to be present when talking to friends, so I listen carefully.
Phrase, react naturally. It means to respond in a real, honest way without forcing it.
Example: when someone shares good news, I react naturally by smiling and saying, "That's great."
Word, obstacle. It means a problem or challenge that makes something difficult.
Example: fear of making mistakes is a big obstacle for many English learners.
Phrase, keep going. It means to continue trying, even when it's hard.
Example: when I feel nervous speaking English, I remind myself to keep going.
Last one, role play. It means practicing a conversation by acting it out.
Example: we did a role play to practice ordering coffee in English. Liam, what's the big takeaway from today's episode?
Emily, I'd say it's this. Keeping a conversation going isn't about being perfect. It's about being present, curious, and kind.
Yes, every conversation is a chance to connect and learn. Don't worry if you make mistakes. That's part of growing.
And remember, confidence comes from practice, not from waiting to feel ready.
So start small. Say hi. Ask questions. Listen with your heart.
You're building skills every time you speak. Even if it feels hard, keep going.
And here at Speak English with Mishu, we're here to help you every step of the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this podcast with your friends.
And comment below. Tell us about your conversation practice. We love hearing your stories.
Together, we'll keep improving and building confidence one conversation at a time.
Thanks for listening and keep speaking English with joy and courage.